what's one thing you wish you did more often as a couple? You don't have to keep this rated PG, okay?
What I used to think was a nightmare, it happened.
Stern on your decisions and what you want, even against your own wife's sometimes desires or other people.
And there's also periods of my life where I just let go.
In the last 9 years that we've been married, it has not been easy. All right, first I'm going to just say a prayer. God bless this podcast and let what Sergio and I share be useful to people y que sean tus palabras y el mensaje que tú quieras que podamos convey to people, que lo que salga el día de hoy. Amen. Welcome to another episode of Wake Up and Unleash. This is your coach, Karla Sandoval, and today is a very, very special episode. I have my very first guest ever on my podcast. And when I thought about who I wanted to bring on as my first guest, there was no doubt that he is the one that I wanted to bring on. So let me tell you a little bit about him. He is somebody that I met salsa dancing, and he is not only the love of my life, but he's also a man that I highly respect. But more than anything, I truly admire. So welcome to the podcast, Sergio.
Oh, thank you.
You ready?
Thank you for inviting me.
Okay, well, here's what I told. Okay, so here's what I told Sergio. I told him, listen, be real, be raw, just like we are. When we have breakfast or dinner and things like that, we always hang out at the dinner table. We have the most amazing conversations. So I told him, just like that, just bring it, because if you know him, he always speaks the truth, okay? So, Sergio, I asked people if they had to describe you, how they would describe you. And a common thing that they said was that you're a man with high standards, and that some would even call demanding. First of all, how does that make you feel? And where did that come from?
I mean, I think it's true. I am someone that demands good work from people, someone that has high standards. I mean, it's accurate. I like it. Where did that come from? I think if I look back, it comes from my childhood. I was raised by my older brother. I'm the youngest brother. There's 6 of us, and he's the oldest one. So for me, he was always my role model. For him, he always tried to take care of me, being the youngest. And there came a point in my life where I find myself being 11 years old, immigrated to this country, having to do, I do door hangers, like the pizza door hangers. I used to do those for his business. I remember getting paid $5 an hour. And then he always demanded more of me. He always told me that I could do things better and demand things better. So even though I didn't like it, because you're a kid, right? I mean, even as adults, people feel uncomfortable being asked to do better. But I think it sets a good foundation. It set a good foundation for my life. And I hope to do that to my son. Obviously in different ways, because as we develop, right, I feel like there was a couple of things that my brother did that I wouldn't do, but I could see beyond that. I could see the intention, and sometimes we miss the intention by the way they make us feel, right? So I feel like my brother had good intentions towards me. I feel like he wanted me to be a good man, be someone of good values. I didn't like it, because he was forcing me to be up at 6 a.m. on Saturdays and Sundays.
Oh, wow.
Right? When most kids would just wake up at 8, 9, 10, 11, right? And they really had nothing to do. I find myself working those days to be able to make some money. So yeah, I think that's where it comes from my older brother.
So you said that you pretty much been on your own. Well, that you've been working since you were 11, right?
Yeah.
And I know you had a very, very tough upbringing. I think a lot of us don't realize sometimes how, at least I'll speak for myself, I don't realize sometimes how blessed I have been to have my parents and go to school and not have to work at such a young age. I definitely wasn't working at 12, you know? And so talk to me a little bit about, like, you had a really rough upbringing, but what did those things teach you? And I know that a couple of times that we've spoken, you've said things like, man, you know, maybe that was kind of a blessing, you know?
Yeah.
Not necessarily at the time, like you said, but, you know, I know that you had a really upbringing. Like, what did those challenges really teach you that now have given you the life that you have?
I think it created a thick skin. Listen, you know, I lost my mom at the age of 8. Um, it was tough. And it was tough to accept that at that moment. I mean, no one's really ready to lose a parent. But what I used to think was a nightmare, it happened. Because I remember thinking when I was 6, 7, I thinking, oh, what would I do if I lose one of my parents?
You thought that?
Yeah. And then it happened. I mean, it happened. It's not something that that I'm okay with, but I have learned to accept those things. And that's the course of life. And I think that if I were to ask my mom, would she rather passed away before myself? Yeah, I think she would take it. And the same as I would take it. I would rather die before my son dies, because I don't think I could. I think I could live through that.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't easy. She died when?
She died when I was 8, December, Christmas Day. Yeah, it was Christmas Day.
How did that shape your holidays?
It was tough. There was really nothing to celebrate. There was really nothing to celebrate.
Do you still feel that way?
No, I don't. I feel like that I have done a couple of things for myself to improve. And I feel that it's something that happened. It doesn't have to put shade into my life, into my family, into my beliefs, and into my son. Because I feel like that life happens as it comes, right? So sometimes we don't have a say on things, and we just have to learn to navigate through it and be able to just rise from it, just be able to overcome it. So no, I don't feel like I should impose my own experiences into what I live now. I don't think so.
Okay, well, that was tough. So here's the thing. I know that when I first met you, okay, so I'll just say it. So we met salsa dancing, yes? And I remember that day was my first time going salsa dancing, and I think it was your first time after, what, like 6 months?
It was, after a while.
Okay, so, and I remember when I first met you, we danced and things like that, and then we were upstairs. We were about to go to bachata dancing right by the bathrooms, and you started asking me some questions, and I saw all the tattoos in your arm. And I remember telling you, okay, like, oh, I don't like tattoos. And I clearly remember you going, oh. And I remember thinking, like, okay, this guy didn't even budge, because normally guys would have asked, like, well, why or something, but it didn't even move you. And I think that's something that I personally have admired about you, is that you're very like, this is who I am. Sometimes I have to say it's a little rough to be with a man like you, where it's like, this is who I am, and you're not very shakable. Nevertheless, it's such an admirable trait, because I feel a lot of us, many times, we care so much about what others think of us, and we don't do what we want to do because we're so concerned about what everybody else thinks. I know that you are somebody that you're very certain about yourself, and sometimes you can be misunderstood. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on the character. It all depends who's on the other side, you know? Yeah, absolutely. I can see it.
How did you mold that? Like, how have you been able to be so stern on your decisions and what you want, even against your own wife's sometimes desires or other people? Like, because talk to me about that. Because I think a lot of the women that watch this podcast, and men, I'm sure, they're all entrepreneurs. And as entrepreneurs, you have to make decisions sometimes that are not favorable to the general public. You have to make decisions that are good for you, but maybe not good for others. And it's hard to make, at least it's been hard. It's been hard for me to say, this is what I want and I'm going to do it. And I hold myself back, but that's not your case. Like talk to me about that.
I think there's a time in my life where I just said, I don't give a fuck. Like I just have to let go of what people think, what they think of me. Because if I worry so much about what other people think of me, I'm never gonna make people happy. I'm never gonna please everyone. And since I cannot accomplish that, who I can make happy, it's myself. Who can feel accomplished, it's me. And I think there has to be a point in your life where you have to detach yourself from the opinion, right? Not detach yourself from your family, but from their opinions, from their way of thinking, their ways of thinking. They might be old ways, I don't know. But you have to sometimes just be able to just create that boundary and say, I'm just meant to live this life that I want to create for myself. I know obviously I didn't grow up with a family, and it's been an adjustment for me to grow up with a family. But at the same time, I feel like I need to look after myself first, right? Before I could look after other people's opinion. I need to make sure that my family is taken care of in every way, right? That everyone's healthy, that everyone is, their needs are covered, right? Before I can worry about other people's opinion. Because it's not going to be popular, right? So when you make your own decisions, it's not going to be popular to other people. They may not, but they not be in alignment with what other people think. But life is so short that you got to think we only get to live maybe 100 years. And this is one in a million lives that we have. So you're one of a million people that could possibly be born. So since you only get 100 years and there's really no way to get the time back, right? You cannot purchase 10 years back into your life. You cannot extend 10 years more into your life. So why are you going to live under the opinion of other people? I mean, I know that there's people that disagree with me. There's people that are not in alignment with the way I think. But the way I see it, as long as my family is covered, as long as we are healthy, that we have a roof under our heads, that we have food to eat, their opinion is just an extra one. I wish everyone would get along. I wish we all would be happy and, create this lovely picture. But at the same time, I have to be okay with what it is. And this is what it is. I look after my family first. I'll make sure that everyone's good. And that's it.
Okay, well, yeah, you definitely are somebody that you're like, fuck it. I don't care what people think. And I have to say, I really, really admire that. I have to tell you that in the last 9 years that we've been married, it has not been easy. It's not been easy to be married to somebody who holds me to such high account. And one of the things the other day you were telling me that I was like, I never thought about this. So part of your older brothers, right? They had you in groups. I remember, so I'm going to give you some context to remind you of the conversation. You were telling me about how you guys were sharing some like challenges or problems that people were having. Mm-hmm. And one of the guys was like, no, I don't want to share. Oh, yeah. What did he say? I don't want to share because I forgot what he said. But you told me, he didn't want to share because people sometimes don't want to be held accountable to their life. Tell me a little bit about that, because I really feel that was, when you said it, I was like, I never thought about that. Like, people live in denial. They don't live in truth because they don't want to be held accountable. You said something like that.
I think that sometimes most of us, we don't want accountability. We really just avoid that, to face our problems, to face really what's going on. The ship is going down, and it's just, you'd rather look away and deviate and do other things, as long as even though it's going down, you'd rather just focus on all the things, all that matters, right? Instead of start figuring out how we're gonna stop the water from coming in. And I think that that's one of the reasons why I remember this guy say, well, I cannot share my problems. I just don't feel comfortable because, I don't know if I'm going to make it through. So, there was a lot of uncertainty in his way of speaking. And by doing so, he got his way. He got his way of just not being able to own up to his problems, right? So in Landmark, they use the trump card, right? So that was his way to not be held accountable for whatever it was happening to him at the time. And I think that we all look for different ways to get out. We all focus on other things, right? Instead of focusing on really the problem. Because if you target the problem and you figure, okay, well, I have this problem here. I need to figure it out. I need to put time and I need to think about it. How am I going to get out of this situation, right? It takes accountability. You first have to own up that you have a problem. And most people don't want to do that. Like most people, they just rather blame everybody else, right? They rather blame the government. They rather blame, the city, the police, everybody else, their own family, relatives, instead of owning up to the problem. And it starts with just owning up to the problem and then figuring out how to move from there.
Yeah.
Right? You cannot hold yourself in the problem, in the negative. You got to think, okay, there's this negative and I got to make it into a positive. And that is your job. I think God has given us everything to figure it out. But we want God to figure things out for us. Right? If it was God would be like, bro, sister, I already gave you a life. You're healthy. You have a job. Figure it out. Like, I cannot do everything for you.
That's like your phrase. I got to tell you, since I've met you, that's been your phrase. Figure it out.
Yeah, and I know that was one of the things that people were triggered back then when we were in LA. People were triggered by that because they were maybe at a point in their lives they were baby. They were taken care of by their parents or by somebody else who was rescuing them all the time. And there's this guy, you go into this business and this guy says, figure it out. Own up to your problems. Yeah, you could do it. But but you
did it from a good space. Because I remember, okay, so total transparency, I didn't like you telling me that. Because I wanted you to figure it out for me because you're very smart.
Here we go. See?
Because, okay, let's be honest, okay? So one of your skills, everybody has a skill, okay? And one of your skills is you really can, Sergio, like you really, really can figure just about anything out. You really can.
Yeah.
Okay, not everybody can. I am not that person. Like, okay, I really can't.
Absolutely.
Okay, so when there was challenges and there were problems, it was easier for me to go, well, like it's going to take me 5 hours to figure this out. It's going to take you maybe a minute.
Well,
so,
I don't know about a minute.
Okay, well, whatever. Okay.
But this guy was spending 1 hour and it's going to take me 5.
So
he could do it.
Yes.
Yeah, well, yeah, sure.
So that's where like I would get triggered because I would be like, why don't you want to help me? Like, and you would always tell me, Karla, let them do it. And I'm like, pero it's so much easier for me to just get it done, right? But now that I'm a mom, right? Because I find myself, I'm not going to lie, I find myself wanting to do things for Sebastian. And I watch how you let him struggle. You let him figure it out. And I'm thinking, yeah, because otherwise I'm going to make, I don't know how you say it in English, un inútil. Like I'm going to make him not be self-sufficient. But it's taken me a long time because that was not my norm. So yes, your whole thing of figuring out, not only did it trigger me, but it triggered a lot of people because it's like, well, if you know how to do it, why don't you just do it?
Yeah. But what benefit? I mean, I see the benefit, right? So yeah, I could take and I've taken a lot of things, and my beliefs in life is that I could always figure it out. That
That's
is
a core belief.
a core belief that I have for myself, that I could always figure it out. How? I don't know. I don't know, but I can figure it out. How to do it, how to make it happen, right? I like the challenge. I like to dig out information, and I like to apply it. The problem is that people are lazy.
Okay.
That's really the problem, right?
I don't
That's
think
really
I'm
the problem.
lazy.
Well, okay, well, it all depends what your definition of laziness is, right? It all depends because everyone has a different definition, right? But it was very comfortable
Yes.
for some people to say, "How do I do it? This guy could do it. Oh yeah, you go ahead and do it." And then let me see what's on Instagram. Well, there's no benefit for yourself if you can never learn to figure it out. You never get anything,
Yeah.
right? Because you're gonna pass it on to somebody else, and someone else could do it. But then when you find yourself needing that help again, if you don't know how to do it, you're gonna be back to zero, over and over. So there's a certain skill to figure things out, right? I mean, I'm saying it's gonna be perfect. I'm not saying you're gonna do it every time, right? Because I mean, there was times where I said, no, I could figure it out, and it didn't happen. It hurt my ego a little bit, but then I come to realize that, yeah, I'm a human being, and then I cannot figure everything out, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
really, you have to own up to it. You have to let the ego go down a little bit too, because someone that always thinks they can figure it out, when things happen, you have to own up to it.
Yeah.
Because most people just say, no, and just move it to no, own up to it. No, I tried. I gave it my best shot, and I think that's what people they lack. They lack the challenge of being able to take on something new, to learn something new in their lives. We're so used to living day by day that it is already very easy to wake up, have your coffee, make up your breakfast, go to work, come back, watch TV, take a shower, and go to bed. Over and over, every single day for the rest of your life. Right? It's very easy. That's very comfortable. But you get that same person into a different environment and challenge that person to do better, he's not going to like you.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's not going to like you. Because this is easy. Why do I need to be better? I'll get by.
Yeah.
I'll get by with what I have. Right? But there's people like yourself and myself that we want better. And at the time, we wanted to take people with us to elevate everybody to a certain standard and treat everybody the same. And people didn't like that, which I'm okay with it now. I mean, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter. But at the time, I was like, yeah, see? And that's the thing. I believe that we're all humans. We're all human beings are capable of doing great things. That's why I treat my son the way I treat him. Because I believe that he is to a certain level. So I speak into that you could do it. Yes, you're going to struggle, right? You're going to struggle a little bit, but you could make it happen. Practice, 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 and eventually you can make it happen. He doesn't like it, of course, but I know that, and I feel that one day he could look back and say, well, you know what? My dad treated me X, Y, Z, and thanks to that, I am this individual. And thanks to that, I could pass it on to my grandkids, my grandkids, or his kids, hopefully one day. I think that that's really making the difference, especially in our family. Yeah.
So you spoke about that you and I, so this is a question that somebody, so I had people ask, I asked people to what questions they want me to ask you. And so you and I definitely are ambitious, right? And so I'm going to ask you two questions. I'm going to ask you what they asked me, and then I'm going to want you to add something to it based on the conversation that we had a long time ago. And that is that sometimes when you're very ambitious, like you said in the beginning, you will do things that you won't be popular. Like, and you just have to face it, which is something that I have to admit I am barely starting to come to terms with. Like, oh, if I really want to live the life on my terms, if I really want to live a life that is for us, like, I just have to really understand that I'm not going to be liked by everybody. And I used to tell you this, and you used to say things like, yeah, because you and I, because I would tell you, how come they don't like me? Or I don't know what I would say. And you would say things like, yeah, because, or how come they like that person, but they treat her like this and they don't treat me like that, and I do more, and I would complain about this. And you once said to me, you said, yeah, because that person doesn't confront them. You and I are very confronting. So somebody asked, I want you to expand on that, because somebody asked, this is what they said. They said, Sergio is a very ambitious man, which you are, right? And then they said, how do you handle, they wanted me to ask you this, how do you handle building and creating a life with another ambitious person? How do you do this as a couple? Because I'm sure there's people on here that are also married to another ambitious person. And let's just be honest, and we'll get to that question later. It's not easy.
It's not easy.
It's not easy being married to you, as I'm sure it's not easy being married to me, right? We've had our challenges.
Yeah. But
right?
I mean, every couple.
Yeah, but our challenges have been less.
Well, I don't know.
Well, okay.
It's been okay.
Well, okay. So in my eyes, not in yours, but in my eyes, it has not been easy. Okay, and I think
too smart for yourself. That's why.
But I think part of it, like, you know, if I was married to a very it's okay kind of guy, I think my marriage with that person would have been easier. But I wouldn't have been attracted to them, right? But I mean, because you're ambitious. Way more ambitious, I think, than I am, but we're an ambitious couple. So I guess their question is, how do you handle?
How do we get along? How do we get by?
How do you handle, and how do you, like, what's the advice about creating as a couple?
Well, I mean, I think, you know, obviously we have worked together.
Yes.
Right?
How was that?
So, I mean,
honestly,
it was good. I mean, if you look at the bottom line, it was good. Because from zero, we started a business with very little money, have no clue how to build it, have no clue how to do, at the time we were doing boot camp, you know, like boot camp classes, and never taught a class, never been in front of people, telling them what to do and all this. And then from that, we grew up to having a big location with the like CrossFit equipment and having 200 people one day working out at the same time. So we go from zero to having that in one day. It was a great progress in 3 years, right? Building that business. That is the bottom line.
Yeah.
And
so
in between, we had a lot of roadblocks.
Yeah.
Because we didn't know really how to run that business, right? There was a lot of roadblocks from like being short money, which was something really dumb and stupid, right? For like $5-10. Right. But
so yes, we got into a fight. We got into a fight over $5. The register was short $5, and that turned into a big fight. But it wasn't the $5.
It wasn't the $5.
Yeah.
I mean, it was more for me personally, it was more of like brushing it away. The fact that you're like, it's fine. And you're like, it's fine. And I like, the fuck? What do you mean it's fine? No, it's not fine. Right? I mean, I think that if I ask myself, what would have been okay with me? What would be okay? A good reaction from you at that moment? Like, what would I choose to be your reaction?
Okay.
I think it would be more like, okay, we gotta be like on it next time. Like, okay, all right, that's fine. But but for you it was like, it's fine.
Yeah, because here's the thing.
And that triggered me. That moment, do you say that? I was like, oh no. I mean, it's okay, right? And that really what triggered me.
Yeah, because one of the things about us is that I don't even know how much that day, maybe we made like $20, I don't know. And I was looking at the $20 that we made, not at the $5 that we were missing.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's really how I see the world. I'm like, okay, well, here's the good part. Okay, the 5, but yes, I will admit I have had the personality that, it's okay, it's just $5. But like now I've come to realize that for you, it's like, no, it's not that it's the $5. And yes, good for us for having $20, but what does this $5 represent? That we're not taking care of our business, that we're not looking out for the details, that we're being indifferent. And now I've realized with you that, just as an example, that whenever you get upset about the $5, I used to be like, God, why is he being so negative? Like, why can't he see that there's all these people here and he's just looking at the $5? What I now see is that one of your ways of being is that you are programmed. Like, I'm programmed to see things like the best of everything, like the goods in people and things like that, which is a beautiful quality. Yeah. And it's also what holds me back. Because I only see the good and I overlook, hey, the $5 means we're not taking care of the details. If it's $5 now, it's going to be $50 later. It's going to be $500 later. It's the attitude of, you have the attitude of, let's take care of our things. Let's take care of the details. Yeah, let's take care of all of that. Yeah. So working together, we had a lot of frictions, right? So yes, I know that we, as a result-oriented couple, we kick ass. Like together, we make a good team. You have things I don't have, I have things you don't have, and we create results. Yeah. However, as a couple coming home, like being out there, like business partners, we kick ass. But then we would come home and we would have a lot of challenges.
Well, we kick ass, but there was roadblocks in the way. And then the thing is, when you're a couple, you bring those home. Yeah. You bring those problems home, right? Because if you have a business partner and something happens, well, that person gets to go to their own spot, their own place, and you get to go to your own place, and you only see each other when we go work together, but that's it. But for us, we had to come home and bring the problems home, right? So it's not easy, definitely not easy, not something that I would definitely say probably not recommend. Yeah. I mean, because it has to be a good understanding. You have to be a really good understanding on your position. Yes. This is my position and this is his position, and respect the line, right? And I think that was the problem for you because I was very clear, what was my position and my duties and my responsibilities. And then I'll be like, well, look, this is that. And you'll be like, no, completely change things over. So then I'll be like, well, okay, so this doesn't work, right? But now we're ambitious, but now things are different. I mean, you work on your business and you do your business and I do my business. And I mean, I have my own set of problems, and I share with you my problems, whatever, with my investments and everything. But at the same time, I mean, they're my problems and it is my responsibility to take care of them, right? I don't expect you to take care of them because I'm like, I mean, it's my business, right? Yeah, our money's still our money, right? I mean, that doesn't change. But you have your own set of problems in your business, and I have my own set of problems in my business, right? We don't mix those same problems, right? Your problems and my problems are not kind of like mixed together. And back then, we had problems. We had problems, and those problems were everywhere. Yeah. And we would take them everywhere.
Yeah. So. And I think like this is for a lot of the women listening, I think this is one of the things that's the hardest thing. Okay. So as you know, I'm a very strong woman. So I built a big business by myself. So I didn't have to I didn't have to tell anybody anything. I didn't have to consider anybody. I would just go. And now I think whenever, like, especially women, whether it's even just getting married, but now it's like I got married and now my husband is my business partner. So now it's like, now I felt like, how can I say this? It was a skill I didn't have to check in with you, to consider you, to ask you for your opinion, to consult with you. You're so good at that. To this day, I have to be mindful. I'll be honest with you. I have to be mindful, like, oh, I should consult with Sergio, because as a lot of times, especially as women that are driven and that are business, we just make decisions. Like, and so we bring that attitude to the house, and we forget, like, oh, wait, hold up. Like, I have to tell you sometimes, I don't know if you know this, but I'm gonna tell you, sometimes before I come home in the car, I take a deep breath and I'm like, okay, let her go. And I like put on a hat of, now I'm gonna be a wife and I'm gonna be a mom, because I literally have to. Now it's becoming easier, but for so long, all I know, my identity is my work. My identity was my work. My identity was producing. My identity, I found a lot of recognition and a lot of admiration from work. And so, because it's addicting, that's one of the human needs, right? That Tony Robbins says. I felt very significant. So guess what I did? That's kind of, and a lot of women feel that way. So I know these last year, especially, I have to say this last year, 2024, our life has dramatically changed. And as a couple, it's changed a lot. I feel like we're in a good place. Could we get better? Absolutely, right? That's never going to change.
Yeah.
But your life personally has dramatically changed. Physically, mentally, like I can notice, I want to acknowledge you. I will notice that you're very passionate. So when you get upset over something, you used to get upset for days. Now it's like a couple of hours and I'm like, I'm just going to give him his space because I know I could trigger you, because I know I'm a lot. And then you just like snap out of it sometimes, if not the next morning. So like I've noticed a lot of changes, that how you've been to the outside world. But there's been a lot of changes inside of you. And so one of the questions that somebody said, I think this is so perfect, and I'm going to share exactly how she read it, how she typed it. She said, what was the moment when you decided to take back your health? What motivated you? And I want you to also talk about how somebody said you should live a balanced life. Why are you getting emotional?
Well, really, I mean, why emotional is because, like, I know myself, and I have a pretty good understanding of who I am and how I am. And there was a period in my life where I was really like living life, you know. And there's also periods of my life where I just let go. I let go of taking care of myself, drinking every day, you know, as much as I wanted to drink. I mean, I've gone through bottles of tequila, not in one sitting, right? But I mean, like 3 days, 4 days, and it'd be gone, right? Beer, I mean, it was kind of like water. And it all comes down to not being happy. It really all comes down to not accepting this life at that moment, looking for a way to get out, to feel better, to be able to have something to feel good about, looking for that feeling, right? That's really what drugs are for, right? For us to get out, to have a moment in your life, in your day, to feel good. Because we're all looking to feel good. How? It's up to us, right? So I think that there was a moment that I let go. I just let go, and I was drinking every single day, and I was eating as much as I wanted, anything that I wanted. And I wake up one day just feeling trash. And I felt like that was the moment I had to make a decision. I had to make a decision. It's like, I'm only getting older. And, the financials are good, right? But I don't feel good. And definitely not look good. for myself. So I feel like, no, I need to own up to it. I need to own up to it, and I need to make that change. Just like I made a change from good to bad, I can make the bad into good. But people get stuck into that funky zone and they never get out. They think that's just life, and that is just comes with age. But in a moment of the switch, right, you can make that change. You can start making those changes. People just don't realize that change happens in an instant. And that moment on, you can make a difference every single day after that. So owning up to the problem, and then second of all, realizing that I'm only going to get older. I'm only going to get older, and it's going to be even harder for me to take my health back. So I'll make change now or 5-10 years down the line, but who knows if I'll be alive? Who knows how bad would I be, right? But again, talking about what we talked earlier, is that most people just decide the ship is sinking, and I'm just gonna focus on other things that make me feel good, right?
Yeah, and somebody actually messaged you, right? Like, I love what you shared. I want you to share this because I think a lot of times, whenever we make that change, right? I love what you said. I never thought about that. You went from good to bad. Well, if you can go from good to bad, then you can go from bad to good. But it's not as easy to go from bad to good, because if you're in the mud, right? Like if you're outside and you're gonna get in the mud, that's kind of easy. But to get out of the mud, it takes effort. It takes discipline. It takes determination. It takes focus. And it takes saying, like, you haven't had any alcohol for how many months now?
6 months.
Something like that, right? Like, and so, like, but I remember you telling me that somebody messaged you and said, oh, but Sergio, you need to, like, I don't know how they said, like, they need to relax, or that you need to, like, live a balanced life, or something like that. What was your response to that?
Me thinking that I live a balanced life got me to that point.
You thinking that you lived say that again?
A balanced life is what got me to that feeling of feeling trash, feeling like trash.
Because you were living a balanced life.
Because I was living a balanced life. Because when you live a balanced life, there's really anything comes. One day could be eating a healthy meal. 2 days, 3 days eating bad food. I mean, people that are drinking, they're drinking on the weekends. Okay, so there's no such thing as I'm not drinking on the weekends, right? So one day I'm not gonna drink, but then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday I'm gonna have like a couple glasses of wine. Like, I mean, really, it's really more towards the bad things that make your.
Do you think that they said that to justify their behaviors?
Absolutely. They say those things because they don't want to have any accountability. They're not looking for any results. I'm just gonna live it day by day, bro. Oh, okay, yeah, okay, yeah. You ain't doing nothing. You're not doing anything.
Why do you say that?
Because I'm just gonna live day by day, day by day. No, why don't you just say I'm gonna give out my best, and I'm gonna do a little better, a little bit better, a little better. Why don't you just say that? But day by day, or when back in construction, they used to say, "Oh, what? I just another day, another dollar." It's like I'm just cruising.
Why do you think people live like that?
Because again, they don't wanna do more. They don't wanna stay the longest hours. They don't wanna produce more. It's easy to feel comfortable, right? So when someone says, "I'm just gonna live a balanced life," most likely you're not gonna, like, you're not aiming for something better. Because those that aiming for something better will tell you, show me results by living a balanced life. What do you get out of a balanced life? In 6 months, what do you get out of living a balanced life? What are your results in 6 months of balanced life? Or what are your results when you're aiming for better? Most people are like, they don't want to be held accountable.
Yeah.
They don't want to be held accountable. So I said, this is what balanced life got me. Like, right? Like, super really heavy, feeling like trash, feeling, I mean, I'm 41, but feeling like a 61-year-old, right? Or probably older. Okay, yeah, no. I need my health, my wealth, and my peace of mind to be off balance.
To be off
Off
balance?
balance. I need them to be over in the positive side. I don't need balance. Balance will be here. Negative will be here. Positive will be here. I need everything here. Health, wealth, and peace of mind here. That's just the way I see it. That is my standards. You want to live your balanced life. You want to live in the middle. Some good days, some bad days. Hey, you live your life. However you want to live it.
Yeah.
But why not live here? Positive. I mean,
It takes a lot of
positive-
work, Sergio.
It takes a lot of work. Positive everything, right? A good health, great health. I mean, I changed my life in 6 months. I'm completely eating very different what I eat from years of bad habits. I wish I would have done this earlier. Like really, like what is the need? I mean, there's really no need to live in and live a bad life. There's really no need. And we can make that adjustment. We can make those difference. But you got to start believing that you can live into that. That you deserve that. But most of all, that you're willing to do the work to get that. Because most people feel, yeah, because I deserve it. Yeah, but where's your work? That's going to back you up. Where is it? Show God that you want something by taking action every single day, whatever that is, whether it's your health, whether it's your career, whether it's your education. Show God that you want something. Show him with your work, your dedication, your consistency. See, most people want to live a balanced life. They don't want to be held accountable to nothing. And it's fine, right? It's fine. Everyone lives, you live however you want to live your life. Right? I need everything on the positive.
I love that. Yeah, when you told me that they said that to you, I was like, oh, I never thought
Yeah.
about that. Yeah, because you're right. I mean, we were living a balanced life. So one day we were like, okay, let's eat good. And then like 2-3 days we were having Doritos with Valentina and, tequila and beer and wine and, and I mean, it definitely
And then
got
eat
us.
out and then traveling, and traveling is like it used to be like a vacation. I mean, like a buffet. I eat everything. That you're at the airport. Yeah, let's go to the burgers. Let's go here. Let's go there.
We were
Right?
careless.
Balance.
We were we were balanced. Well, okay. So look, I want to people send questions. Okay, these are fun. So let's we're gonna change tones as we wrap up here.
Okay.
So here's some questions that they said. Okay, and you can say one word or you can expand. I'm just gonna go down these questions. Okay. The first question was, what did you think about Karla when you first met her?
When I first met you, someone that was very confident. I was the look. Boom, you projected confidence.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you admire most about your wife?
Your positive attitude towards everything. Like that you're positive towards people. You're positive. You see good in people. That is the first thing you see in people. Right? That you have a good attitude towards life.
Okay. What are your hopes and dreams for your family?
My hopes, but I don't have hopes. Hopes.
That's
Hope
what
is
they wrote.
Yeah, I know. Because
Okay.
that's so kind of like.
Like,
That's
what do you
kinda-
wish?
Yeah. What do you wish?
Okay,
is
see,
gonna
here's the
happen?
thing. Okay, so this is a
I
perfect-
hope I get $1 million in the mail and then it shows up here. Is it really gonna happen?
So
It's
this
not
is a
gonna
perfect
happen.
example of
It's
how
not
you
gonna
are. It's like your will is so part of you. Okay, so what are you gonna make happen? No, I'm just
Okay,
kidding.
well-
Okay, what are your dreams for your family?
What are my dreams for my family?
Or what do you want for your family?
What do I want for really? I mean, that's kind of more because my hope it's like I hope, well, 50-50. Yeah, that shit's not gonna happen
Okay.
without doing it.
Okay, answer it
But
how you
what
want.
are my dreams? Or what I want for my family? More the same. I want more health, more wealth, and more peace of mind. I feel like those are key for us. If we're good as a family, that means we're good as a family. That means our kid is good as a family. He sees a good foundation, what a family looks like. If we have wealth, well, we could do many things. That's really what money's for, right? And if we're healthy, I, everything. You could go out and run. You could go out and take a walk. You could enjoy the beautiful day. It's not the same thing seeing this beautiful day here at home, or looking at it from the window of a hospital. It's not the same thing. I mean, most people don't think of that. No. They just want to blame everybody else. Did you really think how lucky we are if we were healthy? Like health, it's wealth, right? So that's what I want more of my family. Of course, I mean, I want to travel. I want to know other countries. I want to go.
Will you ever live in another country?
Maybe.
What country?
Country? Well, I mean, Mexico is a beautiful country. I like Mexico. That would be like probably my only choice.
Do you, it says, do you plan? But obviously, I think the question is, do you want to have more kids?
Yeah, one more.
Ay, Dios mío. Okay, so next. What's one thing you wish you did more often as a couple? You don't have to keep this rated PG, okay? What's one thing you wish you could do that we did more as a couple?
I would tell you, looking back over the things that we have done, I think traveling has been great for us. Together, just us. I think that's been great. I think that we travel, just you and I, and we go to places. I mean, it kind of reminds me of when we used to be dating and we'd have Sebastian. Obviously, it's different now, but I mean, that's something that I really enjoy, going to places and going here, going there, and just, yeah, that was cool. Yeah.
Okay, next question. How does it feel to have a powerful wife by your side?
It feels good. I mean, it feels good. It feels like, very few times in my life, I feel like people, they got my back. Very few people. And those people, I hold them dearly to my heart. Even including family. Because we think family should get our back. Yeah. Not everybody. But I mean, I can count it with my hands. There's people that they're probably not here anymore, but I know that like you're one of them that I know you got my back in every way. Like that, we will overcome anything that happens, and that's confidence. Like that's really because if you're with someone that that he or she are gonna run to the hills the moment shit breaks loose. You might as well be alone. Because then what is that person here for? I mean, just to have sex and share a meal together? That person might even be a liability to you instead of an asset. I mean, really.
You talk a lot about that. Whenever you see couples, I've heard you say like, oh man, he or she are a liability in that relationship.
Absolutely. I mean, there's people like that. I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, it may not, right? But if you cannot count with your partner that you spend your bed with and you're spending your life with, the moment something goes bad, right? Then might as well just be alone. Be by yourself. And date a bunch of people.
Have fun. Yeah. Okay, so two more questions. What are your love languages?
Love languages. I used to say I like material things. I mean, I still do, but they're not like right
Like
there.
gifts?
Yeah, like gifts and stuff like that. But I mean, the more you understand that really the business is not the money, and as you get older, you realize the business is not the money, right? Then that's kind of like it's good, but it's not like I think that's a tough one because I used to think gifts used to be my love language, but the older that I get is like, and the more um that we work for towards things, um you realize that all the material things in life are just accessories.
Yeah. So let me ask you like this. How do you feel loved?
Mm, I like an act of service, like you doing the muffins and that stuff. I mean, I'd really like the protein stuff, like the protein donuts and the muffins. Like, and I enjoy a good coffee with, like a little muffin or a little donut. Like I feel like I made the coffee, but she make the donut. She make the muffin. So I feel like, okay, yeah, like it's
Oh,
good. I mean, because I can make my own donuts, right? I can make my own. I mean, I'm self-sufficient.
don't kill it.
But
Okay. But you appreciate that I do it for you.
there's an extra there. There's a little like, oh, she made this and I make this, and like I enjoy having this meal. So I guess like an eco service,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Eco service. And then what else? I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, there's so many.
Well, and that's it. That's it for you. Okay. Okay. Last question. And then I have one thing. What do you hope to teach your son?
Values, ethics. I think that most parents nowadays, our age, younger generations of parents, they don't teach their kids good values, good manners. A simple good morning, hello, hi. Let me introduce myself. My name is Sergio. Doesn't exist no more.
Yeah.
And good work ethic. Be on time. Be reliable. Take initiative. I mean, it surprises me because most parents nowadays, they take their kids to do every activity on the planet: baseball, football, basketball, music, karate, like the whole thing. How about an act of service? How about, I don't know, contributing to somebody? I mean, I know those things are not popular, right? They're not like Instagram thing. Well, actually, people, but that's another topic. But good values,
Yeah.
like being on time, and on time not is not at 8 o'clock. How about 7:50? That for me, it's huge, because it means that if the class starts at 8 and you're there at 7:50, that means that you have good management of your time, and your breakfast and your dress and you shower and you're there at 7:50. That means you manage your time, right? You value yourself enough to have breakfast, because we need that, right? And you're there, ready. You're letting the Lord, you're ready to win.
Uh,
But if you show up at 8 o'clock running with zero breakfast, you haven't brushed your teeth, you're not ready. You're not ready. Go back. Go back.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know. I'm just telling you how it is.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
just
I
telling you
got
how it
it.
is, because
Yeah, I got it.
I mean, I think those things is what makes the difference from people winning in life and not winning.
Yeah.
And parents our age and younger, they're not teaching those things. The older generation knows, like your parents,
Yeah.
they have a good understanding that those things are key, right? And I don't want to overwhelm my son with all these things, or you're entitled. I don't want my son to grow up feeling entitled of nothing. I want him to know that he needs to work for everything, that he's capable of earning it, but he needs to work for it. He needs to put the labor. He needs to put the work, everything we talk about, consistency, everything.
Yeah.
For me, if I die and he has that foundation, I'm set.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is my last question to you. Okay, and we're going to wrap this up. And that is, if you could go back to your younger self, knowing everything you've been through, everything that you've done, everything you've accomplished, and you can go back and maybe give that younger Sergio 1 to 3 pieces of advice, what would that be?
First of all, would be relax, bro. Relax. Because I used to be like very well, I used to worry a lot, about my outcomes, and I always wanted to be somebody. I wanted to create something for myself. That was something that I said myself around 11, 12 years old. I said, I want to be someone in life. I want more out of life. And I think so I always had that in my back. So first of all, be like, relax. Like, there's nothing to worry about. Like, you're in a good path. Second of all, have faith. Have faith. And things are gonna turn out towards your favor. Because this life is for us, not against us. And it took me a while to understand that every problem and every situation in life, it's a building character situation and problem. It's not to make you weaker, but only to make you stronger. See, no one told me that. But if you really think about your problems in your life, if it happens again, and if you're really conscious, you will know that you've been through this before and you have overcome. And with that, you have a good record. So, faith. Because I used to live in fear. Like, it's not going to work out for me. It's not going to happen. I'm going to lose my job. I'm not going to have this. I'm not going to have that. I said certain things in my life. I said by 28, by 30, by age of 30, I'm going to purchase my first home. And I was able to do that at 28 because that had a thing in my back that I wanted to be someone. And I knew that having a house was going to be a success, a little trophy. But by 30, I lost it. But that's another story. That's another 30.
Okay, so relax, have faith.
Relax and have faith and enjoy the ride. Life goes so fast. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy life. I feel like that even though I have enjoyed life, if I look at my younger self 20 years ago, I would like, enjoy life more. Like, enjoy more of this life. Because time is really, like I said before, time is not what we know as 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Really, time for us is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 10 years ago seems like last week. 20 years ago, it seems like last month. Same thing is going to go forward. It's the same thing, but forward. 10 years are going to come like next week. 20 years like next month. So if you don't make the changes now, you don't want to look back 10 years from now and still be in the same position. So enjoy life.
All right. Okay, well, thank you for being my first guest. I tell you, I love you so much. It has not been easy, but it's been worth it. Like I told you a couple months ago, I'm just so glad that we stuck through it. So you guys, with that said, thank you for tuning in. We will see you guys next week. And don't forget to wake up and unleash that person you have inside of you. Have a blessed day.